Hello YouTube, it is Brank here, bringing you a video on Disney Heroes Battle Mode again. So this is basically our game that we're playing on the mobile platform right now. It's not available on iOS and Android. It is a squad-based kind of a fighting game, but a little bit more family-friendly, not necessarily kid-themed, but family-friendly. And recently they've added two new characters. They've added two Tron characters. I'll go down here and scroll down here and look. They added Kevin Flynn and Korra. So what I wanted to focus today on, the video today, let's say, is the Surge. I'm sorry, not the Surge. City Watch and the your kind of character and overall team building, team composition. So first thing let's look at is our team composition. Now, generally my team composition is one tank, two damagers, and then possibly two support, or yeah, a healer and support. Right now, really, there's one main healer, one only healer in the game, Yax. He's really good. I definitely would highly recommend him with almost any team in the game right now. There's not a huge choice of characters, and there's definitely almost no choice of characters as far as healers goes. So Yax is really going to be your main choice for that. Jack Jack is a good damager. The good thing about Jack Jack is you get daily login chips for Jack Jack, so you'll be able to rank him up. Not, I wouldn't say easily, but easier than some of the other characters. And ranking up is definitely important. Ranking up makes a big difference on their overall power when you are able to rank them up. It gives them a fairly big boost. So you want to make sure you're trying to rank up the characters that you have. Zurg is really good. So basically, I'll show you my 5-man team is pretty much the first 5 here. And I've got 4 of them in purple, 0, and I just hit level 51. So the way that I do this is Sully and Boo, that's my tank. I think Sully and Boo is probably the best tank in the game, though you can work with Mr. Incredible, Fix-It Felix, Wreck-It Ralph is really good. There are really good tanks in the game. I just prefer Sully and Boo. I think the heal that that Boo actually does for Sully is really good, and the synergy with Zurg and Jack Jack works really well. And I'll show you that basically what you want to look for in kind of a team composition that you're trying to build is you want to make sure you have some synergies built into their abilities. So in other words, when I look at Sully and Boo's skills, you can see that basically scaring is caring, right? It's a fantastic damage ability. It does a pretty good amount of damage at the level that I have it, but it also scares the enemies for 10 seconds. Now, why that's important is attacks. Okay, so it basically says that attacks that do fantastic damage always crit against scared enemies. So if he scares them with this ability, what's going to happen with Zurg's ability, Ion Blaster, which is his first his active ability. He unleashes an Ion Blast that fires repeatedly until it runs out of energy. Each shot of the blaster does 648 damage. Now, because it's fantastic damage, that's going to crit every time that Sully and Boo have that scream, that scare applied to every one of the characters. It hits every one of the characters unless they're immune, and it does ridiculous damage. And then the same thing with Jack Jack. He has most of his damage, if you look, it's got the little stars, which basically means it's fantastic damage. So most of his stuff is going to crit when he's hitting with it. The Bouncing Baby, the Rockabye, where it drops, it basically does a ton of damage to basically the person in the back, and it's going to the person with the least HP. So this ability is great because it's almost a for sure finisher. Whoever's low, it's going to hit them and finish them off generally, especially if they're scared, because that damage is going to crit. So you want to look for these synergies. Now, it's not always fantastic damage. Some of the other characters you'll notice do basically normal damage. Those would not apply. Obviously, that the synergy with that ability isn't going to apply as much, but as you can see, most of the characters, or a lot of the characters, are going to have multiple types of damage. I tried to pick a team that most worked, kind of well with that synergy. Now, Mike Wazowski here would probably work well in that build. in my particular lineup because he has two abilities that do fantastic damage, and I believe he gets a scare. Yeah, the canister toss. He throws a canister at closest enemy, scaring them and all nearby enemies for 8 seconds. So he gets an ability that also scares, which then would make them crit. So there's multiple ways of kind of building that synergy into your characters. So again, one tank at least, I would say. Sometimes you are going to require 2 tanks, and I'll go into that when we're going through the City Watch. 1 tank, 2 damagers, and then 2 support. So I've got my damagers are Zerg and Jack. My support is Frozone and Yax, and my tank is Sully and Boo. Now the times that I would want to do a second tank, I'd switch out either Fix It Felix or probably Mr. Incredible for Jack, is when the other team has a fast hitter like Dash. If they have a really high level Dash, he's going to hit your second target, which Zerg is going to be the second target in most of this. So let's go through the City Watch real quick. We'll go through a couple of the maps here. So this was from yesterday. I'm going to reset it on normal, and we'll start on the first map here. And I'll show you my team lineup. Now, it's going to be easy at first because, yeah, they're fairly low level. But you basically start with your loadout, your tank, your 2 damagers, and your 2 supports, and start going. Now, the thing that I love about Zerg, and I don't know if he's broken or what, but once he gets his ability up, it basically stays up, and he shreds through everything in these maps. I'll show you as soon as he starts firing here. You'll see that damage just start going. He didn't even get a chance to do it for very long. Now, the good thing about this is since I've got Yax on my team, he's going to be healing them up. The thing to keep in mind with City Watch is it's a continuous mode. So whatever your characters leave that round with, they start the next round with. So if you don't have Yax on your team, this is going to be very, very difficult. So you want to make sure you have Yax on your team for City Watch, because if you don't have that heal, your guys are basically eventually going to die, and then you have to put in your next round of heroes, which is going to make it a lot more difficult. Now you see a little bit different on this map. You'll basically just see them all get shredded because of Zerg's ability. So what happened there, Boo scared them in the beginning, and Sully, and then Zerg just shredded them with his ion cannon. And that's pretty much how the cityscape works for me at this point, is Boo scares them and Zerg shreds through them. So this round, Boo and Sully aren't going to have that up, but Zerg still is able to shred through them. And he's almost at full health by the... Oh, he's at, well, or not health, energy at the end of the round. Because he steals energy, it makes his energy go back up faster, so he's almost always going to have that energy available every round. So that was an easy region to clear. Really, the only times it gets difficult is at the end of 4 and 5. And those are the times, like I said, what you want to watch for. Let's go through this round real quick. This one's going to be a quick one because he's going to be able to scare them. And then you can see that damage is just ridiculous. I mean, it doubles the fantastic damage of 600 something to 1200. It basically doubles it. So what you want to look for here is if you ever have something like a Dash, Vanellope, it doesn't do too much backline damage, but you want to keep in mind, like Mrs. Incredible, she can do pretty good damage to that second line attacker that you have. So you'll notice in this round, if they do get some shots off, they're going to hit Zerg a couple times. The risk of that is, now that I'm going through the maps, as soon as I get to the next round, if I don't have my Zerg anymore, I've got to then swap him out for Mike Wazowski or one of my other basically lower characters, and it's going to make the rest of the City Watch a lot more difficult. So you want to make sure that you keep your team kind of intact and protect your damagers. So if I need to, by putting Fix It Felix, he would go in the second slot and basically push Zerg down. I'd get rid of Jack just to protect Zerg. At this point, I don't need to. It's usually the fourth and fifth areas that I need to do that at this point. And that's going to change with, obviously the characters that you have and what level you're at and everything. So just keep that in mind. You want to build your team's synergy around a tank, 2 damagers, 2 supports. And there's a lot of supports in the game, and there's a lot of damagers in the game, and there's a lot of tanks in the game. So you just have to look through basically each of the characters, and it'll tell you what role that character generally plays, where they like to position themselves. Um, um, they're basically their overall stats. So you've got Fix-It Felix is a tank, obviously. Mike Wazowski's damage. Support, Violet is support. Violet is a really good support, and I've seen a lot of people use Violet and Yax because she gets kind of the support role of shielding the team, whereas Yax heals the team. So as far as synergy goes, that works fantastic because if you're one of your characters is about to die, she'll actually shield everybody, stop them from dying, and then that gives Yax enough time to heal everybody. So it works really well. The only problem is your damage is a little bit low on that team. Works good in Arena, works good in Coliseum, which will be a video for another day. But basically, yeah, look at the roles, find out which characters you want to kind of go with, and go with it. Just give it a try. Don't spend too many points until you're kind of more sure which team you kind of want to go with. But I would highly suggest getting Sully and Boo. I would highly suggest leveling up Yax. Yax and Frozone are kind of a given. You start with Frozone. Yax is you get fairly early. Those are two that you actually just want to level up almost no matter what, because Frozone's freezing and Yax's healing are two of the best, kind of damage mitigation and obviously healing things in the game. So those are going to stop. Frozone with his high level freeze is going to be able to stop everybody from doing damage, and Yax is going to be able to heal everybody up. So anyways, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and like the video. If you guys want to see some more videos, I'll be putting more videos out on Disney Heroes Battle Mode. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.